Imagine taking that much time late in the review where we're like, marginal common, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Everyone's tuned out of this review already. Everyone is tuned out of this review.
Well, all that matters is we're not tuned out, baby.
That's right, all right.
We're fucking...
We're dialed in. We're dialed. And we're back. It's a couple days later, but we're back with Black. Gabe, kick us off.
All right, we're starting off with a ambush gigapede, 4 and 2 black, 6 for a creature insect, 6/2 flash. When ambush gigapede enters the battlefield, target creature and opponent controls gets -2/-2 until the end turn. So I might have been at a dinner where maybe I was enjoying some beverages, and so it might affect my gradings, but I'm gonna say I'm never playing this.
You're never playing it? It's interesting.
It's interesting because it's a flash 6/2, so like obviously you can flash it in to block something huge and like maybe get value for something that would otherwise like lose you the game. But you're playing 6 mana. You're paying 6 mana for something that could maybe take away their bomb, but like
they've printed something like this before and it was pretty good. It was 6 mana for a 3/2 flash that maybe gave -3/-3, something to that effect, and it was really good.
Because it's -2/-2, it's getting something small off the field. Like there is basically nothing else that you're paying. You're never happy to pay 6 mana to remove one thing from the board. Obviously, in this situation, this is only getting value, in my opinion, if it's getting a bomb and then a menial 2/2 off the board. Because like
it has to be a 2-for-1. It's just the easy way to say it. Like you want it to be a 2-for-1. So obviously you want it to be a 2-for-1. If it's a 1-for-1, that's like medium. You're really not excited about it, and it has a chance to like do nothing and die. Although that's not like a huge chance, but it does have a chance to do nothing and die. The other way to think about this, though, like the next level thought, because this is a 6/2, you could presumably narrowly win combat blocking, not block with this, and then crack back huge.
Yeah, but that's like best case scenario. Like if they're not idiots, they're just gonna like hold up a 2/2 to block if they know this is on the board.
Well, then they didn't swing out, and then you just killed the 2/2. Like either
You're saying like they swing out, you play this on the end of their turn,
or no, you play this. You play this during combat. Like it's fine, and like just win this. Like imagine you have a 4/4 and they attack with like a 4/4 and a 5/5 or something. You're like, take the 5/5, block 4/4s, give yours -2/-2. I have a 6/2, and then win the 4/4 combat. Now you have a 4/4 and a 6/2 both attacking. Maybe I'm just saying that's another way that this can play. I'm just saying I know this has been good. I don't. Maybe it was 5 for a 3/2 flash -2/-2. And that was really good. I don't remember the exact balance of it before, but it has been really good. This is a bit expensive, though. It's risky.
I'll say this. If I'm drafting and this is in my deck, it's not been a good draft.
Really? I would play one. I don't think I would necessarily play one of these. Or more than one of these, but I would play one of these.
I'm not saying that any deck that would have this in it would be bad, but I am saying it's not ideal.
Well, we'll see. Like, there was that white...
It's a D+.
There was that white deal 2 damage spell. I don't know. I'll tentatively say this is like actually a C, which I think is being really high on it. Yeah, I think it might be a C. We'll see.
I can see a world where it's a C-, but like a C is.
It might be a C. I know. I'm being contrary. All right, binding negotiation. If we take that long for every card, that would be awesome. Binding negotiation for a medium card at that. We know we hadn't been doing this for a while. Imagine taking that much time late in the review where we're like, marginal common, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Everyone's tuned out of this review already. Everyone is tuned out of this review.
Well, all that matters is we're not tuned out, baby.
That's right. All right.
We're fucking.
We're dialed in.
We're
dialed in. All right. Binding negotiation. 1 black for a sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You may choose a non-land card from it. If you do, they discard it. Otherwise, you may put the you may put face-up exiled card they own into their graveyard. Now we've lost everyone.
Yep. You killed them all.
Yeah. So they discard it, otherwise... What? Okay, so either they discard a card or you take away a plot. This is like a plot counter. Right? That's why it took me a while, because I was like trying to process exactly what it was saying, because it was saying something weird. But I get it. This is pretty good, right?
Yeah, this is good. This is good. This is good, specifically unlimited in this.
And yeah, because of plot, right? Like this just is a 1 in a black kill spell to any creature that's plotted. There's going to be a creature a game plotted, surely.
And
from what we've seen.
If you're in a play group where you know people are playing cards from exile.
That's true. Yeah, and like commander or something.
And you really hate them.
And you want to be public enemy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this card. I think this card's probably like a C+. Mate. If plotting is like super prevalent, maybe higher. We'll see with rares and mythics, right? There's a bunch of rare mythic plot.
Yes, it depends on how it plays out.
Yeah.
The set, but like mean, we've seen
card.
Blue and white has so much plotting.
But this is a wild card, right? It's like a pseudo counter in black, because it can get things that aren't creatures, right? You can plot any number of things. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's interesting, right? There was non-creature plot, wasn't there?
Yeah,
has it only been creatures? Okay.
No,
all right,
definitely
you take it.
Only been creature. Black Snag Buzzer, 2 and a black creature bird, 2/1. It's a flying black snag. I really don't like this. Black snag.
Black snag. That's a terrible name. I like it.
It's not. You don't like it, and you're a liar.
Okay.
Anyway, this fucking buzzard enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it. If a creature died this turn. Okay.
Nice.
So it could be a 3/2 for 3 flyer, and you can plot it for 2, which is cool. So you can obviously like plot it and then just play it on a turn where you're forcing them to block. This has to be aggressive. It doesn't. Otherwise, it's like a 2/1 flyer for 3, which is
pretty bad.
God awful.
A 3/2 flyer for 3, I'm pretty in for though.
Yeah, absolutely. But so if this is in your opening hand and you don't have anything else to play on turn 2, you're plotting this, and you're not happy about it.
We've seen a decent amount of sack, right? In Orzhov.
One thing.
We've seen sack.
I am never basing like the overall value of a card on a singular way to get in one lane and one color combination.
Well, I mean, also any aggro deck does it. Any aggro deck does it.
We've seen red tokens a little bit, but like I'm not consistently expecting to make tokens on average in the meta.
That's fine.
See tokens in the meta, but like
any aggro deck does this, right? If you attack with your 2/2 and they don't trade it, and you're in aggro, you're happy about that as well. If you attack with their 2/2 and trade it, and then you play a 3/2 flyer, that's scary. I'm playing devil's advocate here. A 2/1 flyer for 3 is definitely bad. We can agree.
I am not saying that this card is innately. I don't think this card is unplayable.
You just have to be fast.
It has to be fast.
Right. It's generally not good if you're going to make it work. That's what I was trying to build to like the build around. So like either you're aggressive. If you're aggressive, you can play this. If you have some sacrifices energy already established, you can play this, right? Otherwise, you're not playing this. Actually, wait, is it fun? Yeah, plotting it isn't great because again, plotting's pretty slow, right? Plotting's pretty slow.
Plotting is slow. It makes no sense for what it's trying to do. Like basically, this is only good is if you're like on turn 5 or 6 with a deck that's very aggressive. Like your only hope is playing this to be like the last 3 damage that you need.
No,
like
by far the best.
This on turn 5, like I don't know, like I just don't think this
plotting is face up. No, by far the best way to use this is you play your 2-drop, you attack with the 2-drop, they trade.
You're being so aggressive. You're so aggressive that like you're just playing everything out of your hand immediately. It's all low cost, and this is like turn 5 or 6. You're playing this.
No, absolutely not. You're playing this. You're playing this turn 3 if you're fast and aggressive every time. Why are you playing this turn 5 or 6? You're playing this turn 3.
But if you're fast and aggressive, your turn 3, you want something that can be attacking the next turn. If you
You're
play
not
this on turn
plotting.
3,
You're playing it on turn 3.
but okay, you're just straight up playing it for
Of
3 after
course,
turn
it's a 3/2 flyer for 3. That's nuts. If it trades, you're not playing a 3/2 flyer for 3 in an aggressive deck. That's extremely good.
Yes, you're right, but I'm still just like
Just get over the
it's
plotting
still
part.
just mid. It's still just mid.
If it's a 3/2 flyer for 3, it's not mid. That's like a minimum of a C plus minimum. The question is how consistently can it be that? If you're really aggressive, I think it's pretty consistently that. And like you said, later in the game, you're not upset about a 3/2 flyer for 3.
I would say white felt pretty slow, though. Overall.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if this is a 3/2
like,
flyer for 3, it's excellent. Otherwise,
if I'm trying to do something fast in black, I guess red black would be the only other option. But like,
yeah, red black's usually pretty fast.
Yeah.
White black's a little. It's like a little more go wide, sacky, grindy sort of thing. But yeah, I don't think this thing is huge. That's what was getting me is that you weren't understanding. I was just saying you just hard cast this for 3 is the obvious play pattern for it.
I do think this is better than the first one. Like I think this is a C minus.
Yeah, I think it's a C minus, and if you're really aggressive, it could be a C plus in like that example. Yeah, that's all. That's all. Blood Hustler, 1 and a black for a 1/1. Whenever you commit a crime, put a 1/1 counter on Blood Hustler. This ability triggers only once each turn. I mean that.
Very good.
I have no idea how often you're going to be able to commit a crime. Obviously, it commits a crime itself, right? 3 and a black. That drain effect is interesting reach in the late game too.
So I think this card is very good.
I think it's good, right? It's not asking much of you. Like, it's almost guaranteed to be a 2/2 relatively soon.
3. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully turn 3, I guess. If they had made this a 2/2, it'd be kind of nutty. But yeah, I don't think it's nuts though. I don't think it's nuts. Like, how often are you really going to be able to commit a crime?
I'm saying that's for an uncommon, but like I think this is pretty sure.
Like,
it's not.
what'd you say?
I really like it. It's got a ton of value. It's very easy for this to have value. It's very easy to build around, seemingly so far with what we've seen in this deck or this set.
Well, you want removal.
So like, yeah, you're in black. You're gonna have removal.
I'm just saying we've just started black and we haven't seen red, so I don't know how much we've. I mean, yeah,
Some red. Some red.
No, because white.
Oh, we didn't go over
white.
red. We did.
Well, I mean, we did the multicolored.
Yeah.
We did the multicolored.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you just have to have a lot of ways to commit a crime. It's pretty obvious, right? It's commit crime, build around. So.
Yeah.
So, give it a grade. Give it a grade. What do you think?
I think it's a B.
I think it's a B. I think it's a C plus.
It's a build around B.
I think it's a C plus.
But I think it could be like a B plus.
If you have a control deck, I think it's excellent. Like black blue control. Black blue control.
If you have black blue control, this wins you the game.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, probably B. I'll go up to B minus. All right, your go.
Boneyard Desecrator, 3 and a black, creature, zombie, mercenary. So this does trigger Outlaws. It's a 3/4 menace. 1 and a black, sacrifice another creature, put a 1/1 counter on Boneyard Desecrator. If an outlaw was sacrificed this way, create a treasure token. This is interesting. I don't think this is. I mean, a 3/4 menace is not the worst.
That's pretty good. Yeah, because of that stat line. That's not a joke.
It starts at not small,
yeah,
and it's pretty easy to build. Once again, back to like being a build around. Like I feel like there are specific lanes as every set does have, but this one does seem to have a lot of like lanes that are like one or the other versus like a fucking fistful, because there are so many mercenaries, but also things that make mercenaries, and like so if you can make mercenaries, this is. You would love to sack one for a treasure and a 1/1 counter on this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, I think this is a pretty easy build around, like, B minus for a common.
For 4,
for 4, a 3/4
it might be a B
minus?
minus. Yeah, you just want ways to generate mercenaries, right? Like that's really the energy this is. You just want ways to. You're definitely looking for ways to make those 1/1s for free, which there are a fair bit of. I mean, one in a black isn't nothing, but it's worth it. I mean, it refunds you a treasure token anyway, so it's really just it's net 1 mana because it's not even a tap treasure token. So it's just net 1 mana for a 1/1 counter with a sack outlet. It's good.
Limit is all about consistency, and I feel like in any card that has something that you have to crank mana into can always be valuable, assuming that it is something worth value. Yeah. And I think this is a lot of value.
It's not like drawing a card, but it's good. Like the uncommon drew you a card for the same cost, right? It was like 1 in a black, sack something, draw a card. You know,
but
obviously
it's an
uncommon is better.
I'm just you pay 2 into just to make a 1/1.
Like, no, that was to sack a thing. That was the uncommon in one of them. It was like the exact same ability. It was like 1 in a black, sack something, do something, and draw a card. Like they lose a life and you draw a card, or you get a life.
I'm saying in general in Magic, like we've seen probably several times at this point, pay 2 of something, whatever color you're in, to get a 1/1 counter. Probably green or white, but like.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is very good, especially for a common.
And it is a sack outlet, like we said. Like we mentioned before, this goes well with the 3/2 flyer, I guess, if you were to have plotted the 3/2 flyer.
Yeah, I will say though, we are early in black, and I haven't seen like that much sack payoff.
I mean, we're very early. We're taking forever.
Yeah.
All right, consuming ashes, 2 black instant, exile target creature if it had mana value 3 or less, surveil 2. This is good. I mean, unconditional exile for 4, so it's like a B-.
Yeah. The question is, how many are you putting in your deck? Max 2, 3?
I mean, we'll see. This is looking kind of slower. I'll put 2.
Should make it more valuable.
I'd consider the third one. It's double black. The first one's a B-. I think the second one's probably like a C+, and the third one is like a C-.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, it's conditional on what.
Yeah, we'll see how fast the meta.
Then
we'll see how fast the meta is.
I think
we'll see how
playing a lot of them.
We'll see how fast the meta is. Here, this is a classic. You take the classic.
Corrupted Conviction. 1 black instant as an additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards. Yeah, we've seen this card a billion times.
It's fine.
It's fine if you're making and
shitting things out. No, but there's one. This is much better in this set because of the mercenaries.
Yeah, for sure. But like
cashing in a mercenary for 2 cards is nuts. It's nuts.
Yes.
It's 1 card, but
yes, but it is shit unless you are doing that well.
I mean, we've seen a lot of them. We've seen a lot of free mercenaries so far.
Yes, yeah, but that's not the point. I'm not saying that. I'm saying like
that is literally the point.
Yeah, I'm saying like yes, overall in the meta, I think this can be very relevant. But I'm saying if someone is maybe on the newer side of Magic and is playing this set in limited, do not take this unless you can draft a fucking anything.
Unless you can make 1/1s. That's what I just said. I just said if you can make the 1/1s, you play this. There's a lot of ways to make 1/1s.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Arguing with me. I said if you can make 1/1s, you play this. There's a lot of ways to make 1/1s, and you're like, if you're doing Magic, don't play this unless you can make 1/1s. Okay.
Yeah. I just felt like you were. We still never gave it a grade though.
Let's just say it's better in this set because not all sets just have the ability to shit out 1/1s. This set does. So this is better. It's marginal in most sets. It's a little better in this set. So it's like a C. It's a C. It's a C if you can make 1/1s. Otherwise, I'm like not playing this. It's like a D normally. I guess you thought I was like talking this up. Like this card is like it's like marginal, borderline unplayable. Yes. But I would play this.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like normally this card is very bad.
It's not very bad, but it's not exciting. Like you have to have sacrifice energies. Like there's been sets where this card has been playable because there's been like sacrifice energies and stuff.
Yeah.
Which we've seen quite a bit of sacrifice here too, but also because you have the 1/1s, it's probably fine in decks that have that. Desert's Dew, 1 in a black, instant. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. It gets an additional -1/-1 if you control the desert. I have no idea how prevalent deserts are. If this is -3/-3, it's great. If it's -2/-2, it's 1 mana too expensive. I really don't know. Desert out of 5. I don't know. What do you think? Same.
I have no clue what deserts are currently, so I mean,
it's a land subtype. So I don't know how many there. I think 50% of packs will have a desert in it. I think it says something like that. 50% of packs, the basic land will be replaced with a land from this set, a common land, which I assume is a dual land that's a desert.
Interesting. Well, in the past,
You have
didn't
to
they
play
have?
it.
Isn't there a desert mechanic
Yeah,
in the
deserts
past?
have been a thing in the past, I believe. Yeah.
So I was not a part of Magic, and they randomly printed like a commander desert card not super long ago, maybe in Dominaria,
Oh yeah.
where it was like a 3-color desert walk card
Yeah. Yeah.
or something like
Yeah.
that, and I assumed it was like snowlands. So there's not, it's not,
It's not
these
like
are like
it's not a
special
snowland.
land. Okay, okay, okay.
It's not
Because like
snowlands. Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was going to be like that, where it's like
Yeah.
every
It's
land
a
has like
subtype. No,
desert
it's just a
land
subtype.
written on it. Okay, okay, okay.
Just like the common duels that you normally see in a set, they're just going to
Yeah,
also
yeah,
be
yeah.
deserts, and there might be some special deserts, right, that like aren't dual lands that have some other ability or what have you.
Yeah.
I mean, like compare this to Candy Grapple, which was just unconditional -3/-3, and you gained a food. I think, right? Like that's a lot better than
Yeah,
this.
this is
I'm kind of
yeah.
off of this. This is like a C, maybe even a C minus.
I
How many
think
deserts?
this is closer to a D plus.
-2,
Like
-2
you're
is like fine.
how often
It wins combat.
there's no way that you have a good deck if you are drafting like large amounts of deserts, unless there's just no one is taking
Ooh,
deserts
duels.
and they're at the end of every fucking
I'm
pack.
not, I'm not evaluating. If this was -3/-3, this is like at least a C plus. So like saying it's a C minus.
Yes, sure, sure. This is all conjecture because we haven't seen the deserts.
Well, I'm evaluating it as -2/-2 with like a
Right.
10% chance to be -3/-3, and I think that's like a C minus. That's
I
my
think
point.
this is more likely to be a trick where you're like blocking with a 2/2 and killing a 4/4 by using just the 2/2 -2/-2 on
I
it.
I think you're ideally not doing that because that's 2 for 1-ing you. But a 3/3 into
I
a
know, but that,
4/4
that's
that
what
would
I'm saying.
be
I think
that would
that's
be
where
better.
this is going to be able to be used the most.
Yeah, that's why this is better than damage, right? Like
Right.
if this was a red card and did 2 damage for 2 mana, you're definitely probably off of it. This is a little bit better than
Yeah.
that. A red spell would definitely be like a D, or like a D plus. So I think that's a C minus. Desperate Bloodseeker, 1 in a black for a 2/2 lifelink. When it enters the battlefield, target player mills 2 cards. So it's a 2/2 lifelink for 2 that has some marginal upside. We've already seen green graveyard
Yep.
synergies. We think this is
Yep.
playable though, right? It's like a C.
For sure, for sure. I mean, a 2/2 lifelink for 2 is playable by itself. No
Yeah.
additional text. So
So
like,
I think it's like a C. You think it's a C
yeah.
plus?
I think no.
If you have graveyard,
I would say it's between a C and a C minus, but like I think the C is based on you having graveyard synergy. But if you have graveyard synergy, fuck yeah.
I think it could be a C plus if you got a lot of stuff going on
Yeah,
with your
I
graveyard.
agree.
We'll see if
I
it
agree.
we'll see if it comes out there. All right, you're
I
good.
mean, Leech from last set, so good.
Yeah.
Fake your own death, 1 in a black, instant. Until the end of turn, target creature gets +2 and gains. When this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control, and
So
you create a
this
treasure token.
this, but with a treasure.
Interesting.
I don't like these cards. This card was barely playable as an uncommon in the last set, even with Morph, even with Morph getting flipped over when it returns. So like you could cheat mana that way, but it was in the worst color, which was black. I don't like this ability. I underrate this ability. I'm just not playing this card.
I mean, I think this is much more interesting with the treasure token.
Better. It always gives you a little something. Like there's the one that
Yeah, but I'm saying,
it gives it permanent +1/+1. That was one. That was pretty good.
yeah, that's for sure good. But I think I like this maybe more. Because
Just for
like
the
this
treasure.
ramping you into your next turn could be super broken and limited. Like you playing your bomb 5 or 6 drop a turn early is like pretty nuts.
If you're like aggressive, so you're like playing this in an aggressive deck. I just don't like these cards. I'm just not gonna play this. This has to beat me so many times for me to care.
Yeah, but I also think like if imagine you're blocking once again like the 2/2 into a 4/4 kind of situation.
But the fail case
I
for
know
this, the fail
it's not
case is
ideal,
getting
but,
blown out. The fail case is getting blown out. I don't care what this gives you. The fail case is you play this. Like imagine they attack with open mana. They attack you with open mana, or like you attack into open mana. Yeah, like are you?
do that.
Huh? Are you playing this?
Yeah, I'm playing this.
You're gonna get blown out.
like a C. I would give it a C minus,
Yeah,
C
yeah.
minus.
I'm gonna refuse to rate it. I just don't play this card. So there you go. You got it from Gabe. C minus. Don't listen to what I'd say about it. I'm just not gonna play it. It gets played on me, but I usually win those. Okay, Forsaken Miner. It's a 2/2 for 1 black mana. It's a good rate. Skeleton Rogue can't block. Whenever you commit a crime, you may pay 1 black. If you do, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield, not even tapped. Which is shocking, frankly. These always come into play tapped, I feel like. But it can't block. That's why.
Whoa.
It can't block. That is why.
Do you think how playable do you think this is in a zombie commander deck if this was a zombie?
Yeah, oh yeah. It'd be pretty good if it was a zombie. I'd be pretty into it.
I think it's very interesting that this is not a zombie
very
card. 'Cause this obviously could have been. It's very interesting because this could have been like a uncommon worth at least $1 or $2.
Yeah.
In like long term.
Yeah,
all irrelevant, obviously, but
yeah. In limited, I think this is fine, but you have to. If you're an aggressive deck, you're playing this every time, right? It's a 2/2 for 1 with actually no drawback if you're aggressive.
Yes.
Like basically no drawback. So a repeatable sack outlet, assuming you can also get your crime on.
Hell, yes.
Hell to the end, brother. So yeah, this is probably like a C plus, maybe even a B minus if you're like really aggressive deck. And I guess if you're not an aggressive deck, you probably don't want. I guess it's specifically aggressive decks in like Orzhov, Sack, Aristocrat sort of stuff.
Absolutely.
I guess I'm saying is you could end up getting this kind of late, right? Like maybe even like 5th pick in a later pack because like this guy isn't in specifically black aggro, this guy isn't in specifically black aggro.
Or even black blue. I think a controlly black blue deck where you just need blockers until you get to a late game state.
Cannot do that for you.
Oh, it cannot block.
Specifically, does not allow for that.
Well, I mean, I think this set's going to be really interesting though, because like even if you're just plotting a bunch of shit and you're just throwing this out there to just attack in, and you're playing blue plot spells that are targeting the other player, which absolutely
you just have to be aggressive. You don't have to necessarily be creature aggressive, but you have to be really aggressive. Yeah, blue black flyers.
I think this set could be interesting in that you could get away with playing like blue black.
It'd have to be blue black. It'd have to be like blue black flyers with that crow. Ironically, that you hated the 2/1. That 2/1 flyer with this is pretty sick.
So
you're gonna have to trade it off.
You're right.
All right, Hollow Marauder. This Marauder. Let's see.
Hollow Marauder, 6 and a black, so 7. Creature, Spectre, Rogue, 4/2. This better be good text. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature in your graveyard. Okay, it has flying. Whenever Hollow Marauder enters the battlefield, any number of target opponents each discard a card. For each of those opponents who didn't discard a card with mana value 4 or greater, draw a card.
Man, they just love throwing words and conditions on cards.
I didn't need an essay for this, but like I do think this card is pretty good. It's weird, like if this is in your opening hand and your hand is really good otherwise, you're very upset about it.
Unless it has the 2/2 lifelink for 2 that mills you 2. Oh my god. This is legitimately a reason to take that card at C+.
Yes.
Because this thing, when it ETBs, it 0 for 1s them, and it has a chance to 0 for 2 them.
Yes, and it's also saying, if you do not discard a bomb, I'm getting an extra card. Like,
well, that's what I just said. That's what I just,
Yes,
it's
I'm just saying,
a card.
That is so good.
But here's the thing. Even if they have nothing in their hand, you're still drawing.
Yeah. And even if they... I mean, even if you don't have shit in your graveyard, which you guaranteed are by a turn fucking 7,
yeah,
and you happen to be hitting lands perfectly, like, this is nuts.
This thing costs...
Late game unlimited.
I want to say worst case scenario, this thing cost 5 on turn 5.
Yeah,
not worst case scenario. A very reasonable even downside is this costs 5 on turn 5. And if you spike 2 creatures with the 2-drop and trade it off, this costs 4.
And once again, if you like sacking things, which obviously this
probably tokens,
permanent, it's usually tokens, but like even like if you have this in your hand and you have some bullshit on the board that you don't give a shit about, and you just want to, if you attack in with it and then sack it immediately, or this fucking zombie, this zombie that
Hey,
can block.
that 3/2 flyer for 3 looking better and better every card, every card, every card.
Interesting. It's interesting.
All right, lively dirge, dirt. Oh, it's a spree. I get a spree. Ha!
Oh,
1 and a black sorcery. +1. Search your library for a card, put it into your graveyard, then shuffle. Okay, and entomb for 3 mana. Kind of off that. Return 2 creature cards with total mana value 4 or less. Really? Conditional for 4? I thought for 4 we just get 2 of whatever kind. Total mana value 4 or less? Oh, to the battlefield. I need to finish reading the card, not to your hand.
I also was off of it until, because I was
To
not
the
reading.
battlefield,
I was listening. And now I'm on board. Suddenly.
It's still just total 4, so it's like even mana. I'm still kind of off of it because
This is another card that I never see you drafting in limited. You specifically.
I'm not playing this. Because it has to be exactly
I do like this
4.
kind of card.
It has to be exactly 4 to even get even mana out of it. I better have value cheap creatures like that draw me a card on ETB. If there's some creature that draws me a card on ETB, oh, you know what I'm playing this with? That 1 and a black 1/3 lifelink that when it dies it draws you a card in white. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
1/3 lifelink dies draws. Okay. If I have those guys, I'm for sure on this.
Yeah.
I'm for sure on this.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I
that's
think
what
I think this is a build around usable. Obviously, in a lot of situations, this is completely useless and awful. But
you need fantastic 2-drops or good 3-drops and 1-drops, I guess.
And like, I feel like in a lot of situations, you only want to play this at 5.
You're getting okay. So
I'm happy about it.
I guess for fun. Okay,
Also,
no. Here we go. Here we go. You actually stumbled onto something here. This is a 5 mana tutor any creature with mana value 4.
And put it on the battlefield.
And put it, yeah, it's just a straight up tutor onto the battlefield. You're paying 5 mana. Yeah. Your green sun zenithing for 5.
Yeah.
Right? X and a green. Okay.
Kind of.
Look at you. Look at you. You found you put the puzzle together. That's actually interesting. A green sun
I've
zenith.
never seen anything like that.
That is build your own green sun zenith in black.
Yeah.
For specifically 4 mana. I think this is pretty good now. Okay. This is like a B. This is probably a B.
You think it's that good?
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna give it a B-, but like I do think for 5, I'm not upset about
Probably
putting something I really like straight up onto the battlefield.
I am hardcore looking for playable rare 4-drops. I might play an off-color one if I have like discard outlets or something.
Yeah.
Like if I can loot or rummage, I'll play an off-color for like because you can just rummage it into your graveyard and then only pay 4 to reanimate it, right? That's gonna be awesome. It's going to be awesome playing a full off-color rare just because of this card. Because it costs 4, like some bomb.
I'll give you this. That is hot. But then I'm gonna watch you draft this limited set, and you're gonna do that, and every single time you're gonna draw that.
Yeah, in my opening hand, never draw a discard outlet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Now I'm going up to B+ just because I'm gonna play some stupid nonsense with it.
And you know what? Fuck it. I'm up to B because I'm excited to see Thomas be upset about using this card.
All right, here we go. That was an excellent journey.
Mourner's Surprise. 1 and a black sorcery. Return up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Create a mercenary, a 1/1 mercenary. And it has all of the mercenary text. Tap 1 to add +1, +0.
So Raise Dead does this for 1 black, and it's generally fine. Like, you generally play Raise Deads. It goes up as your high-end creatures go up. Like, if you have, like, a bomb 2-drop or a bomb 3-drop, playing a Raise Dead effect is better than it would normally be, right? Because if it's just 1 black to get it back, so is the 1/1 worth 1 colorless mana? Kinda.
Yeah,
right?
and I think this works in sack outlet decks. This works in Graveyards Matters decks. This also works in any aggressive deck that says, hey, if you want to trade something off, cool. I'm going to play this the next turn, get that thing you killed back, and drop something else off, and probably, like, use it the turn immediately after to pump something, or even sack it again. Like,
Exactly.
I don't know. Yeah, I think.
Oh yeah, especially if the thing you're getting back has evasion, like that 3/2 bird.
Yeah.
3/2 bird. And
they're like, fuck, I can't deal with a flyer.
Yeah, another 3/2 bird.
And they're like, God,
serious?
Then you sack this creature to
exactly.
make it a 3/2.
To make it bigger.
Like,
yeah. Love it. All right. Oh, I guess we have to grade it something. C. I think that's gracious. Actually, it's probably a C minus.
I think it's a C minus, but yeah. C minus.
Yeah. Neutralize the guards. 2 and a black for an instant. Creatures target opponent controls gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Surveil 1. So it's only surveil 2. So it's one-sided. This can kind of be a beating. -1/-1 to the whole team at instant speed. Like, yeah, sometimes it's not doing a ton, but sometimes this just wins the game.
You can say that about a lot of cards. Like, I'm still not giving this more than a C minus.
It kills all the mercenaries. It wipes all of their mercenaries.
Yeah, but like I'm saying,
that can be relevant.
That can be absolutely. It can be very relevant. It is an instant, so you can do it at instant speed.
And you're surveilling 2. That's not nothing.
Surveilling 2 is always relevant.
Putting stuff in the graveyard.
I don't know. I feel like whenever I play cards like this,
I agree.
It's mostly useless.
But most of the time, it does it to everyone, not just theirs. Most of the time, this is like both-sided. Like if
totally. I know. Yeah, a lot of them are -1/-1 to all creatures or whatever.
I don't hate this. I understand what you're saying. I think the combination of mercenaries being prevalent, it being an instant, and it almost getting me a card with Surveil 2. Like, Scry 2 is considered like 75 to 80% of a card. Surveil 2 is better than that. And we've seen Graveyard's energies. Like, we've already talked about it multiple times. So if I care about my graveyard at all, I'm probably into this.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying it's useless. I mean, C minus isn't useless.
Yeah, it's aggressive kind of too. Like, you don't just have to use this defensively either. Like,
yeah, I mean, if you've got a low to the ground aggressive deck that's in black, you once again are probably caring about sacking things you care about,
surveil, graveyard,
all of those things, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
so, like,
and you're just like once you lose combat terribly, like that could be the game. And so okay, honestly, you rate it. I'm gonna go over the top of you, right? Sorry, go ahead. You're actually going to agree with me?
C minus.
Oh, C minus?
I think it's a C.
I'm going to say C plus, and that might be crazy.
That's the biggest division we've had.
Is it? Yeah, it might be. I think it might be a C plus. But you have to know that you want this. Well, yeah, I think Blue Black Control
that's
wants
why I'm
this.
It a C minus.
I don't know.
Like, this is an overall C minus.
I think most things
if
want this.
Really in this lane, cool.
I think Control might want this, and I think Aggro might want this. But you kind of want to care about your.
Agree with you.
You kind of want to care about your graveyard. All right, this is you, right?
Yes, Nizumi Link Breaker. 1 black creature rat warlock 1/1. When Nizumi Link Breaker dies, create a 1/1 mercenary. All right.
Drive my bus, Link Breaker.
Oh baby, let me tell you how into this card I am. I am ready to up in my and have little running up and down.
Can't say that. Yeah, for sure. Let me mark that one. Let me mark that.
Yeah. They can all be outlaws for me.
At 40 minutes, Gabe says radio edit. That's going to be a series of beeps. This is going to be a series of beeps. Yeah, it's good. C plus.
It's good. Yeah, this is C plus.
Yeah, C plus.
I'm not mad about seeing this card ever. If I'm
how many of these do you play? If you have, let's say you have 3 good sack outlets, you have like 2 of the menace guy and the uncommon. How many of these are you willing to play?
I think up to 3.
I was gonna say 5. I was gonna say 5. Because it's a
I think
double sack outlet.
if you have infinite sacking,
No, just three. Just three. But the 2, 3, 4 menaces, and then the guy that draws you a card. I still think I'm playing like 5 of these.
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's good. I think it's very good.
Okay, Overzealous Muscle. 4 and a black for a 5/4. When you commit a crime during your turn, it gains Indestructible. This is just your generic common 5-drop that's like replaceable, but I could see this being aggravating for sure. Like a 5/4 with Indestructible sure is not fun to interact with on any level. Like, I'll say that for it.
I would say for your generic 5-drop, this is pretty good.
But is Indestructible better than Menace? Like, let's be honest. Like, they're probably just chump blocking this. You'd probably rather it have Menace, so at least they have to block it twice. Like, it's not evasion. Indestructible's not evasion. And those stupid mercenaries can chump block, like, they can block. So I'm actually now off of this even more. D+, just because of mercenaries.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see in a more long-term sense how much mercenaries will define the meta.
I think we just this man.
I know.
I'm sorry. I did not mean to gender them. This person. I didn't mean to race them. This rat.
You're currently in the rat race, but I do agree with you, but I do think that I can see a world where it's not as relevant as we think it is. Even though in black it's obviously prevalent. I think Orzhov. I feel like the last several limited sets have not been super into like tokens and sacking and all of this shit. And I think.
But this one is. This one very much is.
I think that will be.
Yeah. So this one very much is. All right, your go.
Rakish Crew. 2 black enchantment. When Rakish Crew enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 mercenary token. Blah 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 blah.
They're all over the place.
Whenever an outlaw you control dies, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life.
This thing, we've seen these. These are generally pretty good.
Yeah, I think this is fine. But
they're better when they make 2/1s.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's a 1/1 for 3 that does nothing else.
Again, if you have that 1/1 that's making 2, that turns every one of those 1/1s into your opponent's lose 2 and you gain 2.
Don't get me wrong. I think that 1/1, if you're running 5 in your fucking deck,
that's the number.
Slamming this enchantment and asking them to S the D.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
So like, yeah, sure.
Build around outlaw mercenaries energies. But at that, I think this is probably like a C+ if you're doing that.
Yeah, but if you're not, it's a D.
Yes, if you're not playing Outlaws, I would not play this card. That's for sure. I still think it's like a C-, but because there's like some amount of Outlaws you're just gonna have. I think.
A 1/1 for 3 that does nothing else.
No, it does. No, it has an ability, and it does lose them a life and you gain a life.
I know. I'm just saying, like.
Well, you're going to have. I don't think it's not just these mercenaries. Like this next dumb thing is a warlock, right? It's a 3/2 for 3. Like that's an outlaw. Like this thing's a mercenary. That's an outlaw. It's possible.
Yeah, that's an outlaw.
It's possible. Literally every creature in this color is. This is an outlaw. Like,
yeah. To your credit, basically everything in black is an outlaw.
Yeah. So if you're in this color, you're already an outlaw. So like, it's probably fine. It's probably fine.
The other colors did not that we've seen so far. So white, blue.
They probably have a fair amount too. Like we would have to go back and look. I'm guessing there's a bit.
They had a decent amount, but I remember thinking there was less than I thought there would be. Even if some of them make mercenaries, but I felt like there were more making mercenaries than there were.
That's right. I think that's right. But that counts.
Sure.
All right, you're good.
Rattleback Apothecary, 2 and a black. Creature, Gorgon, Warlock, 3/2, Death Touch. Whenever you commit a crime, target creature you control gains choice of menace or lifelink until end of turn.
Where's the downside? I'm looking for the issue with this card.
Yeah, I mean, isn't this card just like extremely good?
Yeah, this card is great. It's aggressive, defensive, and it can make it hard to block or make you win a race. Is brutal with flyers. Yeah. Trades off huge things. There's B. I'm going to say B. And I think that's overrating it. I don't think it literally is as strong as a B, probably, but there's just so little reason to not play it. Like,
Yeah, and like the weird thing about this, like committing a crime mechanic, is like the fact that they have to choose to block before you do whatever crime you're committing
yeah.
is pretty ridiculous. Like, it's hard to
Well,
deal with.
well, you probably would want to give it menace before they got to choose the block, but yeah, the lifelink part
But I'm
would
saying,
work.
yeah, but like also the lifelink thing is very relevant. Like,
Yeah, for
I don't
sure.
know.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I think it's probably it doesn't have the strength of a B, but it's just so solid.
Yeah, it's just solid. I mean, what? Well, to that, I mean, what do you think it is?
I
I think
said
it's
I
C
said
plus.
I think it's a B. Like I would take this like it's
Think
a
so? It's
B.
a legitimate B.
It doesn't do anything wrong.
B minus. I'll give it a B minus.
Like it's aggressive, it's defensive, it makes it hard to block, and it can win
Yeah,
you
yeah,
a
yeah.
race. Like it just does everything.
Also, it's a 3/2 death touch for 3.
Yeah, that yeah,
No other
that's
text.
part of the
So
equation.
yeah.
Was that me? Yeah, that was me, right? This is you.
It's you.
Raven of Fell Omens, 1 and a black for a 1/2 flyer. Whenever you commit a crime, each opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life, and it only triggers once each turn. Hmm. That's not terrible text. You have to be pretty aggressive and have a pretty good amount of interaction. But that could get you there. I mean, how much worse
I
is
think
this than a 2/2 flyer for 2? Is it better than a 2/2 flyer for 2? Maybe.
I think it could be. I think it
Maybe.
depends on the deck the
Yeah.
deck you're drafting. Um,
Yeah.
I think that this blocks the 1/1s is good.
I don't have much of an appreciation for like how many
I
things
I
commit crimes. Ironically, this is not a crime, by the way.
Yeah, that's
Neutralizing the
funny because it's not
guards. It's not
actually
targeting
targeting
anything.
anything.
Yeah.
Um,
I just don't know how much passive crime. I feel like a lot of creatures are not committing crimes. Like that white tapper is going up in my esteem because like it actually just commits crimes all the time. None
yeah,
of
interesting.
this stuff
Black
does.
has not had as
Not
much
creatures.
targeting
Not
of
creatures.
other creatures.
Yeah, I don't think really anyone has. I think it's just like that white tapper, and it costs 2. Because that's insane with this, right? The white tapper, you're tapping them down and draining them, like that.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
pain. Imagine you have
yeah,
2
yeah.
of these, and you're just tapping them down and 4 life swinging every turn. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not
that.
annoying.
Yeah, that's unfun. Imagine you have 2 of both of them. Okay, that's not far fetched. They're both commons, and I don't think they're like on their face broken, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They both seem like not great 2-drop commons. Like that's not even that far fetched. But you're 8 life swinging a turn for 4 mana. That's insane. That might actually be like a little hidden thing, honestly.
Yeah, interesting.
Like that could literally just win you the game. Just that. Like what's your opponent? If they can't remove them, they just lose. So
Yeah.
build around white tapper card. B plus. I don't know.
I mean,
This is like a C.
I think it's a C minus to a C. But
It's a C.
I think it might be better than a
2/2 flyer for
if you
2.
can consistently commit crimes, it is absolutely better than a 2/2.
Yeah,
2.
that's pretty good. This is you then.
Rictus Robber,
So
3
like
and a black.
rigor mortis joke. I don't get it.
Yeah, I think so. It's a zombie rogue, and it's a 4/3. When Rictus Robber enters the battlefield, if a creature died this turn, create a 2/2 blue and black zombie creature rogue, or black zombie rogue creature token, and it plots for 3.
Where's the downside?
Yeah, where's the downside?
Man,
A 4/3 that makes it 2/2
2
for
for
4 by
yeah.
itself is fine.
Yeah, that is good.
I mean, I'm almost always playing this for 4, right?
Are we sure plotting? I'm gonna look up if plotting's face down real quick.
No, it's I'm almost 100% sure it's not.
Yeah, plot is face up. Yeah, so this is like a face-up trick. Isn't great because it's slow. Um, yeah. So I don't think you're plotting this ever, really, right? Because it's slow. You want this to be a trick effectively when you're aggressive in trading, right? That's its
Right.
whole deal. So that's really been the theme. Now, how many cards have we said that with, right? Aggressive trading, aggressive trading in black.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
black's kind of aggressive.
I want to play. We haven't seen red, but I want to play red black, and I want to play this turn 4, and then I want to recur this from the graveyard to
Oh
the
yeah,
battlefield.
yeah, yeah.
That's free card.
I mean, this is like a B, right?
Yeah, I think this is a B.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can even tutor this right on turn 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
Uh-huh.
recur it like you said for 4. Yeah, I think this is a B. Card's great.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Right, Rooftop Assassin, 3 and a black for a 2/2. I bet this thing kills something. I'm not looking. I bet this thing kills something that has suffered damage this turn, and it has flash. It's a 2/2 flash flying lifelink. When Rooftop Assassin enters the battlefield, destroy a creature an opponent controls that was the damage this turn. Wow, I'm so good. Sneaking behind people, pedestrian. It does have
Exactly
lifelink.
how this little cuck would sound.
It does have lifelink, which
Except I think
does make this more
the
interesting.
average.
Yeah. Once again, on that aggro black plan, I think this is a contributor. I think it's like it might be a C plus actually. This
Yeah,
always
if you're
costs
just
4.
Yeah, if you're playing a bunch of little shits and you can trade a 1/1 mercenary into something using this, like
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, this is like a C or a C plus maybe even. Flying lifelink is very aggravating to deal with.
yeah,
If you
yeah.
cannot.
Honestly, without the lifelink, I think I'm off this pretty hard, like a
Yeah.
C minus. But like, yeah, I think it's going to a CC plus because of lifelink.
And sometimes you're honestly just gonna play this as a flash flying lifelink and like not even worry about its second text, right? Like maybe they didn't block when you attacked, and then you still just cast this at the end of their turn. All right, you're good. This art's wild.
Servant of the Stinger, 1 and a black creature, human warlock, 1/3 death touch. Whenever Servant of the Stinger enters the battle, or whenever Servant of the Stinger deals combat damage to a player, if you've committed a crime this turn, you may sacrifice Servant of the Stinger. If you do, search your library for a card, put it into your hand, and shuffle.
What? What a card! What a
Wow.
wild card. So the play pattern is, right, you play this on 2, you attack them. If they don't block, probably to their detriment, you hopefully have like an instant red spell or something to like kill their thing and then demonic tutor with this.
Or something to force them to discard, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, I'm playing that -2/-2. Hey, that -2/-2 card that's a desert, that might be better just because of crimes. Like, we might not be just to trigger stuff like this, right?
Yeah.
Which that
Yeah,
in turn
possibly.
might make deserts better. I'm so blown away that this isn't a sorcery. For some reason, I thought it was a sorcery. Just like the art and the name, I was just like, sure, this was going to be a sorcery.
This is a really interesting card though, and I mean I think it's good.
I think this is a B minus,
Yeah.
which I think is very high. I think that's pretty high
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
But I think a 1/3 death touch for 2 is like a C plus, right?
Yeah, I think that by itself is very good. So like, I mean, honestly, if I'm being entirely honest, like I thought I was even thinking as high as a B.
As high as a
Like,
B. I don't know if it's that good.
the payoff for this is insane. It's replacing a card that's probably getting you value with a card that you want.
It scales with the power of your deck. It scales with the power of your bomb, right? If you have like 2 bombs in your deck, this is for sure better. Then maybe it gets up to a B.
Like, what are you doing if you don't have at least a bomb or 2 in your deck?
Yeah. Let's hope. Oh, if you have the creature tutor.
Yeah.
I'm just making a joke because you could just tutor it with that. Shoot the sheriff. 1 and a black instant. Destroy target non-outlaw. So now we for sure need to know how prevalent outlaws are. Because destroying target non-outlaw is either
For 2.
terrible. I don't know. There's a lot of outlaws. I think like every black creature has been an outlaw.
I think every black creature we've seen is an outlaw.
This might not even be playable main deck. Because, like, if you're playing against black or red, it just might not do anything, right? Like, there's the potential for that. For it to literally not have text.
Actually do nothing.
You can't play cards that don't have text in your deck. That's a pro tip. Pro tip. So, sideboard out of 5? From what I've seen in black, I don't think... I don't... Like, how interested are you... What is it? Terror? Destroy target non-black creature?
I think it depends on how good black is.
Black has seemed pretty good. And red, probably. And maybe half the other colors, for all we know. I'm not playing this.
Yeah. I don't know. The other colors, I did not feel like there was a ton of them. So, like, I could definitely see it being playable.
From the sideboard.
Right, except from what we've seen.
From the sideboard. I'm not running the risk that it has no text. Yeah. Just sideboard it if you're playing that format. But everyone plays best of 1 now anyway. Alright. Skull, was that me?
Skull. Yeah.
Sure. Go.
Skullduggery. 1 black instant until end of turn. Target creature you control gets +1/+1, and target creature your opponent controls get -1/-1.
That's a crime.
That is a crime. I mean, it's funny. It's funny because like this thing I'm not excited about that it's doing, but the fact that it commits a crime, I'm much more excited about. So,
why, you yellow-bellied, loot-stealing, good-for-nothing, bottom-feeding, dog-faced, lily-livered... I'm gonna die from coughing after that.
Thank God for it. I don't know. I think it's a C minus. C minus.
Yeah, hard agree. Now I can't talk. I've done up my voice. Deserved. Worth. Treasure Dredger, 1 and a black for a 1/1.
You're off.
I'm off? Oh, yeah. What?
Yeah. There. Now I can see it.
What happened? Strange. Treasure Dredger. It's a 1 and a black for a 2/2 human rogue. Pay 1 life. Pay 1 tap. Pay 1 life. Create a treasure. So it's a...
I have never seen anything like this, or limited, or period maybe.
It pays 1 and taps to filter your mana, but also potentially ramp you in a future turn to the detriment of this turn, which is not great.
And you're losing a life. I think this is one of those things that's like doing something a little bit different than we've seen, and I'm sure there are a lot of people that are going to see this and be like, oh, like maybe this is broken, but I think this is I think this is never going to be good enough.
Yeah, I think it's like, I mean, it's a bear, so you don't need much more from it, and I don't think you're getting much more from it. So it's like a C.
Yeah, you're not.
It's a C. It's a 2-drop.
I think it's a C minus.
Maybe. I mean, it filters you. Like, it just straight up filters for a life. Yeah. Which isn't great, but maybe you're into that. So yeah, C minus. You're good. Oh.
Fortunate accident.
This seems good.
Is 1 black spree. Instant.
Uncommon.
For 4, so for 2 black to destroy a target creature. We love that. And for an additional 1, create a mercenary. So for 6...
5.
Or sorry, for 5, you can create a mercenary and destroy a creature. I think this card
or for 2, you can just make a 1/1 instant speed.
Or for 2,
which is
1,
not great.
Like desperate.
Yeah, that's mode 3 for sure.
But it is an instant, so you can use it to block. Like you could definitely use it if you have an aggressive deck. You could use this to like make a trick essentially to then swing back into the game. Like,
wait, yeah. If you have like a flyer and you just need 1 more point of damage, you just like do this at the end of their turn and then tap it on your turn.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I think this card is a B plus, EB plus.
I think it's a B minus.
Like I just I'm always taking 4 cost, destroy a creature, removal in black.
For 2 and 2 black, destroy a creature is definitely not a B plus. I mean, what did we gave the exile that could also surveil like a B or B minus, and that was an exile.
Even.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. I think I'm gonna say this is a B minus, but it might be a B.
Yeah.
It might be a B.
In
So,
limited specifically, I don't care as much about destroy versus exile because like black is really the only thing that's black and green are the only things
well,
that
it
give a
can.
shit about graveyards, and that's a subsect even of those.
Well, it can also matter for ETB effects is typically where it matters the most, or not ETB when dies effects.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that makes that 1/3 not draw. Like that
Yeah,
sort of stuff
yeah,
can end up being
yeah,
important.
totally.
Yeah, you're good.
Unscrupulous contractor. 2 and a black, creature human assassin, 3/2. When unscrupulous contractor enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a creature. When you do, target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. And you can plot it for 3.
This card is nuts.
I mean,
This card is nuts. I think this card is crazy. It's a 3/2 that draws you 2 cards on ETB for 3. Assuming you can sacrifice a mercenary. If you do that, this is
say this card is.
wild.
I wouldn't say this card is nuts,
This card
but
is
I think this card
nuts.
is extremely good.
This card, we've already seen the 1/1 obviously that like sacks into another 1/1 like this card. I think this card is kind of wild.
I think this card is wild because you could also literally just win the game by giving them 2
Yeah,
cards.
just make them lose 2 life.
Their last
Yeah.
2 points of life.
This card is wild. I don't know why you're really plotting it. I guess if the plot argument is that you don't have the like maybe your 3-drop or your 4-drop is the one that makes a 1/1, right? If your 4-drop is the one that makes a 1/1, then you plot this on turn 3, then you play the 4-drop, it procs the 1/1, then you unplot this and draw 2. So actually, yeah, plot does actually make this even better than it already was. This is this is like a B plus. I'm almost tempted to say A minus. I think this card is ridiculous.
Okay. I would have given it a B, leaning towards B plus, but I think it's very good. I think it's very good.
I think this card is wild. This is like mythic uncommon so far. But aside from the multicolored ones are crazy, but this is the best card I've seen outside of the multicolored ones.
Sure.
All right. Is this me?
Sure.
Okay. Vault Plunderer, 2 and a black for a 3/1. When it enters the battlefield, target player draws a card and loses a life. So this is normally a 2/2 for 3 that does this. Like Phyrexian Rager style. So how do I feel about a 3/1 for 3 that does it? Also good, I think, is the answer. Susceptible to that -1/-1 instant card that we saw, and also that combat trick that we mentioned. Both are going to get this one good. The combat trick especially, right? +1 to one of your creatures, -1 to this. That is rough. I mean, you've still drawn a card. So I don't know. I think this is probably like probably a C+. This is probably a C+.
Yeah, I think this is for sure a C+. I think I think it's a C+.
Cool.
Because if this is replacing itself, I don't even care about sacking this if I'm getting the same value or something.
Yep. Woo! We did it. Red.
Right.
2 more, and then artifacts and lands, which is kind of a freebie.